Oh, Dangerlings! Here we are, it's Danger Recall again. Oh my goodness, it's Danger Recall. I think my mic's popping, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. All right, how you doing? I've got we got some delightful guests in today, and we were recording really early in the morning as well. I don't know about you, but I've just woken up, rolled out of bed, so, you know, I'm feeling a bit puffy-eyed, but I'm feeling all right. With me today, I've got the marvellous Ross Harmston.
Hello, everyone.
The wonderful Dan Thompson.
Good morning, Dangerlings.
And the amazing Wolfgang Hemingway.
Greetings and hail.
Yeah, how are you doing, all three of you? Let's start with you, Ross. How are you doing today?
I am good. Woke up this morning, grabbed myself a gun. Papa never said you'd be the chosen one, because you're one in a minute. It's the Sopranos
opening. This morning. Who is that by? That is
Got
a tune.
yourself a gun.
Of course it is, yeah.
Oh, we have to deep dive on this now.
We'll have to deep dive on this, won't we? Yeah. I thought you were doing like a bluesy thing. I thought you were going, I woke up this smart.
No. I was doing a Sopranos thing for those Sopranos fans out there.
Yeah, man. Do you know what? I hate to say it, but I've only watched like 3 episodes of that.
Oh,
yeah, me too.
My God.
Yeah.
I never finished it. I think I watched a couple of seasons, but I must go back to it. It's an amazing show because it's so tense all the way through and nothing happens, and that's just the genius of it. The whole show is basically about something is gonna happen at some point, and it just keeps you on the edge. It's beautiful. James Gandolfini, the greatest.
Yeah,
Alabama 3.
Amazing actors.
Alabama 3. Woke up this morning. There you go.
Nice.
Alabama 3. So how are you feeling today, Dan?
I'm excited today. I like when we're recording, it's the first of the month. That means it's lots of fun Patreon things all day for me. We're recording these now, and then I'm going to get some more NPC names because we're getting back into Civilization in the main show soon, and we're going to need some of those Patreon NPC names. We're prepping T-shirts to send out to patrons. We're getting shout-outs recorded for things. It's a fun day of Patreon content today.
It's a big day today, isn't it? It's also April Fool's. Like, we're recording this on April Fool's Day, Dangerlings. So, Scott, have you got any
yeah, I'm not actually here.
Planned?
That's the prank.
April Fool's.
Classic.
Scott's got us, yeah.
He pre-recorded this, and he's now just doing it.
And I figure that Ross would make a comment about me, like, pre-recording it. So I'm just going to bank something here by saying, haha, Ross, in the future. I think that'll cover it.
It's really clever how you're doing this. How you kind of, like, preempted what we're going to talk about and how we're going to talk about it. And you're not even here.
Yes, Colin.
It's going to be the entire episode.
Yeah, right. All right, today we are going to talk about episode 30 of the Danger Club podcast. This is the old news show, the show where we talk about our show. We kind of dropped those taglines a little bit, haven't we? But I'm going to drop them in every now and again. This is the Christmas episode. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
I thought no one was
it's not Christmas now.
No, it's April Fool's, but yeah, maybe
that's the joke, Colin.
That's my April Fool. I'm just going, it's Christmas Day, and everybody is Christmas Day.
Is that a sea shanty?
Maybe. A sea shanty, it's Christmas Day.
Once was a day that was Christmas Day, and everybody had a nice Christmas Day.
That's your standard sea shanty.
That's my go-to. I switched from, like, I used to do Drop of Nelson's Blood, but since the Wellerman happened, I've switched fully on board with the Wellerman.
I went to a wedding once and they started doing this sea shanty, and I didn't know anyone. It was one of those things where you go with a partner, and and they just all stood up. And then they all started taking it in turns, and then the crowd kind of joined in. And you what you do is you kind of improvise. You improvise a little bit of text, and then everyone sings along with you at the chorus. And the chorus is always the same. And it was really good. And you know what? I did get a little bit nervous, but I was like, "Oh, I've got one," and I didn't do it in the end.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a really sad story. It's
that is actually that's super intimidating, even for performers. Like that's like get up in front of a bunch of strangers, no pressure. But if you ruin this verse, you will ruin their magic day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I will be the guy that ruined the wedding if I did that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And I've ruined too many weddings. I can't.
You should stop going to. You should stop going to pirate weddings, Colin. Like, perform a pirate wedding.
It was actually a really sick wedding. That was in Boston. We were talking about Boston the other day. Yeah,
Boston.
So, that was in Boston. That's not a very good Boston accent. We've discussed this though. We can't do Boston accents. Danger
But
Links.
I'll tell you where we are. We were in Biston.
Yeah.
Come
You
off
could-
the
you can do
Biston
this.
Bear, didn't we? So and now we're in. Oh, you can't see me, Dangerlings, but I'm handing the baton over to my 3 co-hosts with my
And all
eyebrows.
of us are looking at each other to be like, who's he nodding at?
Yeah, right,
Without
yeah.
realising that it could be literally any of us could be opening this up.
We had a comment from one of the Dangerlings the other day saying, "Oh, there was a bit of silence in that episode," and I was like, "Yeah, it was meant to be there." Like we were all just on the Zoom and not really paying attention to each other, and we didn't know who was supposed to speak, so I just left it in. You know, why not?
Speaking of
kind of
leaving it in,
Well, that was dark. What are we leaving in?
we're leaving in the story of the Danger Club in Care Marga.
Yes, we are. Let's get into the episode, shall we? All right, so this was the Christmas episode. We released this on the 24th of the 12th, 2018. Do you remember those halcyon days? Oh, 2018.
No.
Do you remember where you were? Anyone?
In another life, Colin. In another world.
Yeah, we were all with families and, you know, doing jovial things, weren't we? Singing songs round pianos and eating Christmas dinner with lots of people, going to see friends, everything.
This is what's happened in Endgame. Is there's splits now in time stones and all that stuff, and this is what it is. We're in a split now, in a different reality where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and he walks around and looks at the camera and does some emo stuff and
Dances.
goes. I don't know why I started referencing that, but you know, hey ho.
Yeah.
It's early.
We've lived in the blip. We lived through the blip.
We did.
We are part of the blip. The blip is us.
I, for one, am a big fan of turning Danger Recall entirely into Bramble, like we're doing with the main show. I'm on board with this.
Yeah.
Especially since it's a half-hour show. This means we only got 20 minutes to recap the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can knock it out of the park and then talk about anything else if we wanted to. You know, that's what we do here, Dangerlings. Tell us if you want that. You know, tweet us, see what's going on, because I don't know. Some of my guests here today are shaking their head. Some of them are smiling. I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. But anyway, it's Christmas. Welcome to Christmas. Today's episode, we have music featured from Kevin MacLeod, and Sword Coast Soundscapes. We've got Mattia Capelli, we've got Ross Bludgeon, and ladies and gentlemen, we've got another Tweet Us. Oh! No reaction?
Nice.
Okay, maybe one more. We got another Tweet Us.
Ooh.
Scott, can you give us a Tweet Us sting? An improvised Tweet Us sting.
What was the tweeters in this episode?
Oh, I'm going to tell you after we get the sting.
Oh, I was gonna tell you this thing around the recipient.
In that case, let me give you it. It was the bard himself. It was Shakespeare.
Tweeters, Billy Wagglestick.
Yeah, all right. I like it. I think I've added it to the list. We've got a Tweet Us list. There's only 4 people on it. I thought by episode 30 we would have a lot more Tweet Us's. Didn't you?
Yeah,
He's on
When it
there.
really kicked in.
It's Nietzsche, Socrates.
Not Socrates yet.
Oh, not Socrates.
Turn up.
Yeah, we haven't really. We got so many weird tweet us.
It's because you set very strict rules on what goes on the Tweet Us list, Colin. And actually, in the early episodes, we spent a lot of time just challenging people to fights and not necessarily asking
Yeah.
them to tweet us.
We need a separate list now, a fight us list as well.
Oh, that means we have to go back to the beginning. We have to start Danger Recall all over again.
Oh no!
All right, I'll go listen to episode 1.
we would do in a fight. We would do Nietzsche, by the way. Nietzsche was feeble, but I'm not sure about Shakespeare. Shakespeare had rage. I think Shakespeare could take a lot of us.
He's pretty dark, isn't he, Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he can,
Marlowe could take him.
and he can, you know, whip off a little quip every now and again, couldn't he?
Yeah, he'd always
Call
have a
us a
crowd on his
knave.
side.
call
Although
us a knave or
would
bite
he
our
fight us,
thumb.
or would one of his ghostwriters?
Several ghostwriters.
Oh my god! Yeah, I don't know. Do you know
It's
what I'm
like,
saying?
am I fighting Shakespeare or am I fighting Marlowe? I can't tell.
Or am I fighting Green? Oh, there's a Shakespeare reference for you there. I might have made that
this
up.
podcast panel is 50% Canterbury, so I can tell you Shakespeare is not going to do well on this panel.
Yeah. Come on, Chaucer, let's get him. Yeah, lovely stuff. Although we've got the Marlowe Theatre as well, haven't we? So we've got Chaucer, because there's like the Chaucer. There's a Chaucer experience in Canterbury, and there's like, or am I just thinking there's a Marlowe experience, and I've got Chaucer and Marlowe mixed up?
There's
'Cause
the
I know there's a
Marlowe Theatre.
Theatre,
It's
yeah.
a staple of the touring circuit for a lot of theatre productions and comedy gigs and things like that. It's a lovely theatre. A mate of mine works there. In this episode, let's do a recap.
Oh yeah,
Episode
all right, Dan.
30.
Have you got a recap of this episode, please?
Yes.
Come on, let's get back on track. Come on.
Oh yeah, I apologise, Colin, for steering us on this tangent. In this episode, it's very simple. The Danger Club fight a bunch of zombies and go up and down on a rope at various stages in various fashions until finally they manage to escape from the zombies and then murder a badger. And then Caragor loses his mind at all of them.
Yeah.
That's effectively this episode. It's lovely. It's a lot of fun. Good combat episode.
Yeah, it's a really good combat episode. I really enjoyed listening back to this. I've listened to this about 4 or 5 times now. I mean, not just this week. I've only listened to it once this week, but I've listened to it a good few times. And I really love the character development of Caragor in this one. Because, yeah, he loses it on everyone. Because we don't stick to the plan. And I don't think Caragor is quite sure who to blame. How do you feel about that, Scott?
Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it? I just decided to sort of lean into where Caragor was going right now. Sort of had a stressful time. Went down a pit, which by the way is like it's always a good encounter if you can add levels into an encounter. I think like it's all everybody gangster if everyone's on the same level, 5 adventurers in a room. But as soon as there is an up or a down involved, then everyone's like, oh shit. Which is good, I think. That's fun. But yeah, obviously for the characters, it's quite a stressful time going down the pit and then Velda getting offed and then Caragor having to be the thing and then there's pulling. Which obviously, if it was Caragor on the other side of the rope, he'd have got it wrong as well because there's no easy way of doing that. Like managing to pull people up, especially in the heat of the battle, it's chaotic, it's frantic. But yeah, when he came up, I was like, I just decided to lean into his like little like stressed tiff like one would get in those situations. It's pitch black, you're in a labyrinth of horrors, everything went wrong. It's a stressful time, and zombies with pipes.
Yeah, it was really good. I loved it. And as a character, as M, I was like, why are you having a go at me? Do you know what I mean? Because he was like, I stuck to the plan, and I was trying to. I think and James, I remember James piping up and sort of saying something like, "Well, you would have seen it. You would have seen that someone wasn't on the rope, and you'd have pulled it up." And I was like, James, man, this happens in like 6 seconds, and we're all doing the same. Like as I'm pulling the rope, Fulton's jumping off. That's how it's happening simultaneously.
It's that thing of like the players are at a disadvantage and at an advantage because you're at a disadvantage because you can't actually see properly what's going on, but you're also at an advantage because you've got whole minutes to plan a 6-second round in between. So it's very easy to talk with the advantage of hindsight.
Yeah. I mean, there's no disrespect to James. Should we call him? No, let's not do that again. He's probably in bed. He's got a stream later. I love you, James. I love you, James. There's no disrespect here. So, Ross, Fulton jumps off the cliff, changes the plan. What happened there, mate?
Well, I think it's because I felt bad. After... I think Fulton goes with seeing like banter or seeing things and going, that's what you do, and then we'll do it, and then we'll immediately, and then obviously James's reaction or Velda's reaction or whoever sees that they're pissed off and goes, oh, okay. Well, then I better go down there and defend. I will defend him, or like I'll get in front of him.
Because Fulton pushed him off the cliff, didn't he? He was like, I'm just going to push Velda off, which was really funny. in game. It was like to listen to. It was amazing. I mean, you actually did that to one of your friends, like they,
Yeah, imagine that. You were like, what the
what are you doing? Yeah.
or you wouldn't be alive. But I think me as a player, like I it's hard because obviously Fulton is me and I am I am Fulton.
There's a slogan there.
There you go. But yeah, so part of me was like, I need to go down there and help him now because obviously I don't actually want him to die and get ripped apart by zombies.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a bit of me in there. I mean, it was basically me just pushing James down a pit, which is what I wanted to do all my life. So
That was the really joyful thing, was because it was, I think the anger across the table there in that episode was about 70% Velda angry at Fulton and 30% James angry at Ross. And there was a genuine slight, and it's that thing, because we've all done it at a table where you get annoyed at something that's happened in the game and you're annoyed, but you're also annoyed at yourself because it's stupid that you're annoyed at something that's happened to an imaginary wizard. And so James is kind of a little bit, and all of us are just kind of slightly tittering and trying not to, but trying to be mates and trying not to needle him about the fact that he's annoyed about this. And so you get this kind of this kind of low bubble collective hysteria about this weird situation that's happening. It was delightful.
I mean, I think James talks about this, not in this game, but in maybe the next game. He says at the end something like, a bit of a spoiler for next week's Danger Recall, but says something like, if Velda did die, I'd really care about this character. So, doing things like that does. If it was me, I'd be the same. I'd be like, oh, you know what I mean? How would you feel, Ross, if it had gone sour and Velda would have taken the bite from the zombie and died? Like, if in a different timeline, how would you feel if you killed another player's character, like accidentally?
It was his time. I would. I probably would feel really bad. I'd be like, that's why I jumped down and I got in front of him, because if anyone's going to die from it, it should be Fulton, because he's the one that caused it. So that's what I was intending. I was like, all right, you go up and I'll die. It could have totally been avoided, the whole thing, but it didn't. And we got into a fight.
If Fulton was from Kent, he'd be from Banterbury.
It's that thing in it, that like if Velda had gone, then that would be a legitimate sad moment, and someone would have probably just cause to be angry about it. But like in life, like in situations, there's never really one root cause for it. There could be like several other contributing factors. Like Caragor wanted to jump down and get the shiny thing, the MacGuffin thing from Chappie LaRue, and sort of did that. But there could be I just Caragor just down in the pit when Fulton lands and goes, what is going on? What is happening?
M doesn't know what's going on either. He's up the top. He's like, Fulton's just legged it past him, and he's like, well, I better pull the rope, I better do something. And then Dan, I wanted to ask about Ica as well, because Ica steals the show, man. She comes in, Travis is pulling, M's pulling the rope, and what's his name? Shania's pulling the rope, and then Ica comes. I couldn't remember. And then Ica comes up and just rolls like natural 20s all the way, and just
she's straight 20s all the way through, isn't she? Travis rolls nothing. The Gearwright brothers don't even help.
They don't even get involved.
I forgot about that,
because they don't understand what the plan is. Like they're just at the end, they're just like, well, what were we doing? And like people are like, we're pulling the rope. We're not pulling the rope. We're going down the pit. We're staying up here. And they're just like, what? And also, I kind of forgot they were there because they're slightly inconsequential, and they were just there to give you some treasure when you got to Kaer Marga.
You forgot we were there. We forgot we were there just now, and we forgot they were there in game. We could have had 2 more people pulling the rope. This probably would have all been over quite quickly had we had 2 more people pulling.
It's unlikely. They had low strength scores, although Ica did as well, and she rolled 20s all the way. Yeah,
there you go. You never know. I mean, they could have rolled natural ones and pushed them in. You know that. That might have happened as well.
It's also possible. I was looking at the ranges on this as we were prepping this episode, and I'm even not totally convinced M could see what was happening in the pit. because it's dark down there, and I'm not sure, because he doesn't have dark vision.
No.
I'm not sure that he can really make out what is happening down there in the pit. So he can just hear all these shouts and screams and is just pulling on the rope. And that's kind of all he's got to go on that. Everyone else pretty much has dark vision in the group, so they can all see what's going on. Not that I think anyone in the pit really wants to see what's going on, because it's terrifying. There's a lovely moment towards the end of it when Fulton and Velda are just running in circles around the pit being chased by the zombies. And Ross is just like, we're going down the tunnel, right? And James is like, what? No! Stop making it worse.
Yeah, as if Fulton wants to go down the tunnel where all the zombies are coming from. Like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because they could only move. They could only move. Wasn't it? They could only do two things. Wasn't it? They could only move or something.
Yeah. So zombies in Pathfinder are staggered in first edition. So they basically can make a move action or a standard action, but not both. They can charge, but it's like a limited charge. There's a separate rules mechanic for it. So they're chronically. It's one of the things that makes this. It's such a lovely fight. Like Scott says, it's on levels. Any fight where you've got 3-dimensional combat is really fun. Any fight where you have enemies that are situationally dangerous. So they're easy to avoid if you're using a correct tactic. If you stay on the move and you can keep away from them, and they've got quite slow movement, they're relatively easy to fight. But if you get cornered by them, you're dead. Like that's really interesting because it's kind of there's a real tactical way of playing that, and creatures that are genuinely frightening. Like anytime you have a fight where everyone is genuinely afraid of the monsters, that makes it interesting as well, because it adds that extra layer of stakes to it, and it makes people make mistakes. It makes people be like, that's where you get into the thing where people aren't fighting like a tactical unit and everyone's doing different things, because everyone at the back of their mind is sort of thinking like, well, I don't want to die, but I know there's a plan. And so it kind of that throws that extra little bit of psychology into it as well, and it's really lovely. I was really glad to get this episode, because like we've sort of said in the previous one, it was a bit of it's a slight forced hand to get us there. Kind of setting up the Dusk Warden amulet early is a telegraph move that you wouldn't normally do, and it kind of highlights that something like this is going to happen, but you do it because you know that the payoff ideally will be really good. If you can get to this game, then it will be worth it. And so you kind of, as a GM, you're always tense coming up to this, because you're like, okay, if this is now a dud, then the whole sequence hasn't worked. So this is the main event. This has to deliver, and then we have a really fun fight, and I'm happy with it.
I think this is the thing about zombies, isn't it? Everyone has a chance. I said this in the game. Like, everyone has a chance against zombies. I know zombies aren't real. But, in every sort of depiction of zombies, everyone has a chance. You can outrun them no matter who you are if you have the right circumstances. So that's really, really, it's great adding that into it. I've read a tweet, actually. It was from like a Factual website. And it said that there are certain brain parasites out there that if they were to get if they were to go global, then a zombie apocalypse could be quite likely. So, bring on the zombies.
Tweet us, zombies.
Tweet us cordyceps.
Tweet us undead.
Yeah.
Any undead.
The bit about Fulton wanting to run off into the tunnel. How early do you think this podcast would have ended if at any point, more than two of us just went, okay, Fulton, let's do that? How soon would we have TPK'd? Would this have been one of them? Do you know what I mean? Does a podcast only survive because enough of us say no to Fulton quite often?
Always say no to Fulton.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lovely bit. I think it's in the next episode, or it's after this sequence where Fulton sums up what he's learned from it. It's it's all right to do dangerous, impulsive things, so long as you do a dangerous, impulsive thing in the opposite direction afterwards to make up. And I just remember looking across the table at James, and James just had this look on his face of I'm gonna die.
It's really good in this episode. I love this bit where Fulton is running around and he apologised to Velda as well when they're running away from zombies. He's like, sorry! That was like, not the time! That's really good. And I'll tell you what we haven't talked about, which comes at the beginning of the episode, is the introduction, Dan. The Christmas introduction. Where did you get that from? Is that something you wrote?
Yeah, that is something I wrote. Yes, it's a poem that I wrote for a bunch of you guys of Christmas a year or two before we started the podcast, as a kind of a Christmas thing when we had a Christmas game of Pathfinder then, and then I rewrote it and re-recorded it for this. I am very proud of rhyming demon with Treeman, because it certainly makes it sound like Treeman is a name, like he's Michael Treeman.
The Treeman Show.
Hello, I'm Michael Treeman.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. I really liked putting all the sound effects under that, like the Christmas bells and then the zombies and the swords clashing and stuff. That was really fun to do, actually.
It's weird as a Christmas episode, because I think we really wanted to do a Christmas special, because we'd done it in our social games for years and we'd always had kind of a special game at Christmas, and we wanted to do something like we have ended up doing in the years after that with Weeby Goblins and Come Dice With Me. So we wanted to do something like that, and it was just because of our crazy schedules at that time. Gosh, remember that. We were too busy to do anything, to record too much, but also because we were at such a weird point in the story. Like, we were just about to arrive in Caermarga. We were in the middle of a combat, and it felt like a weird place to pause the main show. So we just kind of rolled straight on with it and just gave it a bit of a Christmas flavour. Just
out of interest, do you remember what you were doing 2018 Christmas? Because I know we're all really busy around that sort of time. I think I was in...
I mean, you can... Yeah, I remember. What were you doing, Colin?
I was in it was like a Disney Christmas show. Yeah? I was playing a ringmaster in a version of the Nutcracker. Or was that the year after? Do you know what? I'd have to look at my diaries, but I think I was doing that. Scott, do you remember what you were doing?
2018. I think I was back to backing shows across like Soho. Like I was going. I do distinctly remember. Was that the 2018? Was it? Yeah. So that would have been the year that would have been the year. That would have been the year for the first time in 10 years I got the flu because I was working so hard. I remember it coming on. I was literally going from one gig, got on the night bus to go to another gig, which is like near Carnaby Street. And I remember going, I got a bit chilly then. My teeth feel weird. And then when I went over for Christmas, I just had a complete shutdown for 5 days. So that was the Christmas that I worked too much.
Yeah, okay. Ross, do you remember what you were doing?
I was in Aladdin, Panto.
Nice.
My first ever Panto, and I played Iago.
Iago.
The parrot, but I wasn't a parrot. I was just a weird, unibrowed American weed guy. I was like, hey, my name's Iago. That was how I did it.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Damn, are you Santa?
I was doing... It was my first year as a full-time actor doing Christmas, so I was doing all sorts of little gigs. First year at Hampton Court, doing the Hampton Court Christmas show, which was just incredible. One of the most amazing shows ever done, just in that place. That place at Christmas is magic. And yes, I was doing my one and only stint as a Santa in a restaurant in London, and you can hear it in the next few episodes in my voice, as it increasingly sounds like somebody who's been trying to do a Gandalf voice for 40 shows a day for the last few weeks. You know, I get really ragged after a couple of these.
Yeah. Well, there you go. At the end of the episode, we pull everyone up, and Velda heals Fulton because he's been bitten by zombies as he gets pulled up on the rope. But that is episode 30. Dangerlings.
We didn't talk about the crit. We didn't talk about the amazing... Fulton gets critted on his way up.
Yeah. They get bitten by the zombies, gets critted. They bite him on his neck and blood's pouring out.
Do you remember what the crit was that never came to pass because he got dropped below 0? Do you remember it, Ross?
I do not. What was it?
So it was confused for 3 rounds.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
if he hadn't gone unconscious, he would have been confused. And confused, you roll a die every turn to decide what your character does.
He might have attacked Velda.
One of the options is like you might hit yourself, you might do nothing. But a few of the options are you just attack the nearest person. So it could have been that on the way up, Thorn got hit on the head and then just viciously attacks Velda for several rounds while they're hauling him up.
Imagine it.
Like, imagine that extra chapter on their friendship.
Yeah.
He goes and saves him, then kills him. that would have made Fulton really dark for the rest of the podcast.
I mean, we wouldn't still be friends with James, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be in his house at this point in time, recording in his house, would we? No. Well, that's it. Thank you so much to my guests for coming along at this early hour. Scott, thank you so much.
The tides take me and retreat back to the shores of our once timely birth.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Love you. Bye.
And Ross.
Goodbye.
Bye, Dangerlings. Bye.
See you later.
Why am I waving?